Hey guys, just to show you some of my peppers and the drip system that I've hooked up. This will help me automate the watering process. Got sort of a serpentine arrangement here with the main line tubing, which is that thick black one in the middle, and then I've punched holes and put little 1/4-inch tubing and fittings into each one of these pots. So inside each pot, I've connected the 1/4-inch tubing to these drip emitters. Okay, all of these emitters will just efficiently provide water for the pots whenever I just turn on the faucet. And I go with a company called DripWorks for the drip irrigation systems that I've set up. So that's one side of the yard, and I'll show you another section that I've yet to set up the irrigation for in my backyard, which is where I'll do the crosses. So here's my backyard setup. I have not connected the drip system up yet with all these pots, but we got some cayennes over there, some reapers, and if we go down, we've got all kinds of peppers. Mainstream peach, there's orange Scotch bonnets, we've got some, these are Taja habaneros, already cranking out some pods and lots of flowers, so I'm excited about that. Here's another Taja habanero here, just not ripe yet, but in the ripening process. These turn to a really bright orange when they're ripe. Okay, so there's some more Taja habaneros of that dark leaf phenotype. Come all the way down. These are another variety that I'm really excited about. This is called El Oro del Ecuador, and this is not a super hot pepper. This is a milder pepper, but already producing pods. These turn, sort of a bright yellow when they're ripe, and so I'm interested in doing some crosses back here. So I've got lots of different varieties. If we go back in the back, all of these back here are my scorpions. So I'm going to zoom in on one scorpion pod here, so you can see how gnarly it looks. And the one that I show you will be a chocolate scorpion, and it is not ripe yet, but it is probably the furthest along of all the little pods here. So there's that scorpion. Ooh. So that one's going to be super hot, and when it matures, it turns a brown chocolatey color. Hence the name chocolate scorpion. So now I'm going to pick a couple of varieties to cross back here and show you how I do this and how to ensure, just like Gregor Mendel did, that you're ensuring the appropriate genetics of the cross from the two intended parents, and how to make sure those genetics are true. Okay, so the male parent that I'm going to select is an ahi lemon. It's a bacatum, capsicum bacatum type. This will get bigger and bright yellow, very lemony, citrusy flavor. And I'm going to pick this flower right here because it is very fresh, and you can tell it's just opened probably this morning. Now here's an example, one that's a little further along. I would not want to pick that one because it's looking kind of ratty and it's probably well past fertilization. This one's fresh. The pollen should be fairly fresh, and you can see the anthers, all those structures, stigma, style ovary, all that good stuff. So we're going to zoom in on that pollen there and use that as our paternal source. For one parent, I'm going to try to see if I can cross a jalapeno also with the El Oro del Ecuador. So this is the female parent, the El Oro del Ecuador. I want to just show you how you pick a flower that's appropriate for crossing as the female, that has not matured and already been self-pollinated. this is a great candidate right here because you can tell that it hasn't opened yet. All right, you'll sort of develop an eye for this if you so desire. Now, something like this one where you know, okay, that's already opened. Even one like this one that's already open. If they've already opened, guess what? The pollen has already started to mature and it's likely already self-fertilized. So you want to be shooting for a pollen or a flower. You can look at the very bottom of it and see, okay, that definitely has not opened yet. So we're going to choose this one as the candidate. And then emasculate it, which means we're going to remove all the male anthers, remove any sort of pollen from this maternal plant so that we transfer only the pollen from the ahi lemon as the paternal source. Okay. So this is the male flower, the very beautiful ahi lemon. There's fresh pollen, and so the female plant is El Oro del Ecuador. Okay, and so this is the flower that I'm shooting for. When you pick a female flower, you want to make sure that the pollen has not matured yet to the point where it's not light and fluffy and it's going to self-fertilize. So very gently, what you can do is just clip away at the petals, and you're going to have to get your scissors in there. It's very, very delicate, but you know that if you've learned your flower parts, the anthers are the male parts where the pollen is contained, and we're trying to remove those so that it doesn't self-pollinate. Okay, I can look at them and tell that the pollen has not matured yet, and all I want to make sure is there's no male pollen left on that flower. This is the female part that I want to fertilize the stigma. So what I need to do is get my male flower that I've picked from ahi lemon, and come over here, and the pollen, I'll just take this flower and just kind of like a paintbrush, I can already tell I've got it right on the, you can already tell it's on the stigma there. So that one went really quickly. Just for well, I'll do another one here in a minute, but I want to show you how I will mark this. Now you can use a straw. This is a basic straw. This is my first cross, so I'm just going to assign it number 1 that I've written on there with black Sharpie. And what I'm going to do is I'm just going to clip off a little section of straw, just like that. I'm going to, on the opposite side where the number is, I'm going to cut that straw, and then I'm going to come around and go to where my female flower was, so that now I have a marker to where I know this thing is not going to, if it rains, it's not going to be a big deal. But this will help me remember which cross I did and where it is. All right, so we can just very easily, or not so easily, place it around that flower. Now that thing's not gonna, there's another flower around there. That's gonna mark my flower. So hopefully this flower, if it takes and the pollen tubes reach the ovary and fertilize that flower, then I will have a F1 hybrid. I will continue to watch this, and hopefully it will set pods like you see here, and I'll be looking for that. I'll let it mature, harvest the seed, and that'll be my F1 generation. So you guys know that when you have your F1s, you can then grow those out and get the F2 generation. So the goal is, you know, this is sort of a multi-year effort. You have to look at your F2s and kind of see, all right, there's different phenotypes here, which one am I going to go after? So that's a very arduous process. You have to select ones that you hope will be the right phenotype, and then you pursue that F3, F4, F5 until you get the fixation of alleles that you're looking for, and that takes time. So it's exciting. I'm probably going to be doing a lot of this summer just because it's fun. And yeah, so if you try that at home, it should be fun. You know, if you've had bad luck with your peppers that you have from Webb, if you do have peppers, remember that there's lots of places around town you can get peppers. You know, Knox Seed, Lowe's, and Home Depot will have a good variety of peppers. So have fun and do some crosses.